Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another week of online learning. So today, you've received 2 more articles to read through and add to your note taker. That's going to give you an even more kind of overview of the crisis that's occurring or has been ongoing in Ukraine. Today, what I want to spend a little bit of time talking about is the task. So all you're getting this week is those 2 readings and an introduction to the task. Next week, you won't get any readings, you won't get any lectures, you'll just have task time to figure this out. So this week, do those readings, organize yourself to start thinking about this task, perhaps do some research, and then next week, a little bit more research and put this task together. So I just want to explain this task to you. So if you don't already have open the document titled Task at Issue Episode, Crisis in the Borderlands, please open it. And I'm going to present that on a window here so that you can see it as well as I explain what you are going to do. So the document looks like this, okay? It's titled At Issue Crisis in the Borderlands, Newscast or Podcast. Now, when we had designed this, we were still in the classroom, but this translates very well into this online learning platform. So I'm sure a lot of you have watched the news in some capacity over the last little while and have seen kind of panelist discussions, right? Sometimes journalists, sometimes doctors, that kind of thing. So we're going to mimic that type of assignment. So there are lots of different news shows and podcasts that broadcast traditionally multiple times a week discussing various political issues of the day. Right now, they are 100% all discussing COVID in some capacity. So some of these examples you may have seen, but maybe not realized that you've seen them. CBC has quite a few. I've listed 2 of them here. So CBC has one that's called At Issue. It's with Rosemary Barton. It both appears on TV and a podcast, essentially looking at the big stories of the day via a panel discussion, exploring different perspectives on the issue. And that is not exclusive to politics, although right now it kind of is with the COVID. CBC has another one called Power and Politics. This one's exclusively related to politics itself. Daily episodes same thing, looking at various perspectives, having multiple panelists looking at the issues of the day. And different guests. Global TV has one as well. It's called the West Block. CTV has one called the Question Period. Trend Lines is a global politics review. They have it's exclusively a podcast with 2 episodes weekly, looking at global affairs. And there are lots of different ones published by different media outlets in Canada and around the world. So that's what we're going to be kind of mimicking. And I will post a link to an episode of Power and Politics or At Issue, so you can kind of see what that's going to look like. Okay, so your task. Okay, if we were doing this in the classroom, right, we'd be putting you into groups of 4 to 5. We know that now that we're online, this is a little bit more challenging, but I'll explain the group situation after I talk about the task. Okay, so what you're going to do is you are a journalist. Okay, and you're examining this crisis in the Borderlands. Okay, so Ukraine's Crimea crisis. And what you're going to do is you're going to create a 10 to 15-minute segment of a news program or a podcast analyzing global affairs. Okay, so within your group, you're going to have a few different roles that need to be assumed. Okay, a show host that is asking the questions and moderating the discussion. Your power panel, okay, 3 to 4 expert panelists. So of course you would be assuming those roles, expert panelists, each presenting a different perspective on the issue itself. Okay, maybe you have a European Union representative, maybe you have somebody from both sides of the crisis in the Ukraine, maybe somebody from Russia, maybe an American, however you want to do that. Okay, it's going to be dependent on your research. You'll also need some sort of catchy program title and description. Okay, what you know, this is not an applied graphic arts class. This is not a video production class. So we don't need flashy video and flashy introduction and song and music and all of that. We don't need it. You're not being graded on any of that. You're going to be graded on your content. If you want to put those other pieces in because you find that fun and engaging, fill your boots. But we're looking at the content. Okay. So how are we going to figure out this group situation? Okay. So we are in a merged Google Classroom of all 3 classes. You can work together with your friends from other classes if you choose. I am going to have a Google Doc going, also here in Google Classroom, where if you've decided to work with other people, if you could put that in the document, you know, group 1, you know, X, Y, Z, and A, right? You're going to be a group. If you're only doing it in a group, that's fine. If you're doing it by yourself, that's fine. We just want to know that who's working with who and how we can support if needed. Okay, so maximum group size is 4 to 5. And you say, well, Ms. Delano, I really don't want to do this in a group. I'd really rather much do it by myself. No problem. The expectations are still going to be the same. You need a host and 3 to 4 panelists. You might do that by enlisting the support of your brothers and sisters or your parents. Or if you're really tech savvy, you can create avatars in whatever program that might be. I'm not really sure how to work that, but that's something that you could do, right? Or you could just put on different hats. Say, you know, this hat I'm the European Union, and this hat I am this, and right. So you can be creative if you want to do it in a group smaller than 4 to 5, or if you want to do it by yourself. But the expectations of content are still the same. Okay? So for the duration of my talk here, I'm going to talk about it as if you are a group. Okay, so as a group, what you're going to need to do, you have done the readings from class and the activities from class. You're likely going to need to do a little bit more research depending on what questions you are going to ask. Okay, so as a group, you're going to need to develop burning questions to which you develop your episode around. I would say that if you have probably 5 or 6 questions, you're probably going to fill that 10 to 15 minute time slot because you've got the host who's talking, you have the panelists who are presenting their ideas, perhaps your panelists debate each other a little bit, right? If you've got, you know, you need to fill that 10 to 15 minutes. So if you're targeting 5 questions, you'll probably hit that time count. Now, if you're at 5 questions and you're not at that time count yet, you're probably going to need to enhance your discussion, okay? So develop burning questions, okay? Based on those questions, what perspectives need to be presented? Remember, with IB is built around this idea of presenting multiple perspectives, okay? Maybe within that you've identified, okay, we've got somebody from NATO, somebody from the UN, somebody, or however you want to do it. What perspectives need to be presented? Maybe some are liberal, some are realist, or however you would like to do this. Okay, so research the various perspectives related to your burning questions. Create an outline of your show. Don't just start taping, right? Create an outline. Maybe you create a script, right? Or an outline script, depending on how comfortable you are. And then at least do 1 practice run before you start to tape it. Now, there's a variety of ways that you can tape it. You can use your iPhones. You can use any of the meeting platforms, right? If you need to log into a Google Meet in order for the 3 or 4 or 5 of you to meet online to tape it, right? If you don't have I don't believe students have the capacity to start their own Google Meet through the district's platform. You can just send me an email, say, hey, Ms. Delano, can you start a Google Meet for us? And then I can help you get set up there. Or, of course, Mr. Baylog or Ms. Fallowfield, depending on who your teacher is. So there's lots of kind of different ways we can do this. You can, of course, record it on your iPhone or your laptop or your other tablet or other device that you may have. We're trying to let you have a lot of flexibility with this. That is kind of the overview of the task itself. Let me make this a little bit smaller. The assessment rubric is fairly simple, okay? Basically, you're getting marked on your introduction, so clever and catchy introduction. This does not mean music, this does not mean graphics, right? Right, so are you able to engage your audience right off the start, okay? Content, right? That's where the bulk of your marks are coming from. Okay, 15 of the 25 marks are coming from your content. Okay, open-ended questions using to draw relevant and interesting information from the panelists. Multiple perspectives presented, demonstrating a sophisticated understanding of your topic. And then delivery. Okay, you've rehearsed it, it's conversational, right? Your speech is clear, it's intelligent, right? All of those types of things, right? If you need to record this more than once, no problem. Okay? So that's an overview of the task. Okay. So on Friday, I should date. On Friday, on Friday, April 24th, I'm going to do a kind of question period, for lack of a better word, in Google Classroom, in Google Meets, for all 3 classes, so mine, Fallowfields, and Baylogs, on Friday, April 24th at 11 a.m. Okay, I will post into Google Classroom that link when the time comes. If you have questions, please meet me there. If you don't want to wait to ask your questions, of course, you can come and meet me or come and email me before then. We'll also have that Google Doc in Google Classroom for you to record, you know, who your partners are, or if you're doing it by yourself or whatever. Okay. So if you've got questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me or your classroom teacher via email, or meet us in that Google Meet on Friday. Have a great day, everybody.